Welcome to Playfully Orange, our conversations on Thursdays about arts and culture here in Central Florida. I have as my guest today, Marshall Ellis. Welcome, Marshall.
Thank you for having me, Terry.
So Marshall, I see that you're in your theater there, your Me Theater, your Marshall Ellis Theater.
Yes.
And you've been involved in dance here in Central Florida for a while. We'll talk about that, but you were born in Alabama?
That's correct. Yes, I was.
A hotbed of classical dance there in Alabama?
Definitely was. Yeah, it was definitely the top of everyone's list of things to do.
Were you born in a big city or?
No, I was actually born in a very small town, North Alabama. The town's name that I grew up in was called Kellen, Alabama. So it was very small, and it was, maybe one red light 10 miles away. So it was very small.
So was it not until you were an adult that you got into dance, or
no? I started dance when I was 6 years old. I fell in love with it. I never thought in a million years I would choose dance. I also played baseball and basketball, but my parents were like, "Are you sure you want to dance?" I'm like, "You live in Alabama?" I'm like, "Absolutely, I want to dance. I'll take the bullying. I can take it." But so age 6, I started doing jazz, tap, hip hop. And then when I was 15, I started ballet. I actually moved out of my house when I was 15 to go to Birmingham, Alabama, which is a large city. They had a little bit better cultural resources for me. I trained there for the last 3 years of my high school with Alabama School of Fine Arts. And then I graduated and went to Valley Austin in Texas.
So, I mean, all of a sudden, what did you see something? What made you think, I want to dance, or why did you start dancing?
Yeah, so I love being on stage. I'm like not a very talkative person. I'm quite shy, but on stage, I'm a completely different person. So I kind of enjoyed that buzz I got on stage. It was definitely an adrenaline high, and I fell in love with that. I never thought I would be a ballet dancer. Actually, I hate ballet. Still to this day, I hate ballet, but I respect it very highly. And I found out I had a love-hate relationship with it. So the fact that it was incredibly hard and challenging, it made me stay with it for a very long time, and it took me a lot of places. So Fernando Bojones came to my school when I was, I guess I was probably like 15 or 16. He showed me videos of what a male ballet dancer was, and there was videos of him dancing, and it blew my mind, and I was like, I want to do that. And so that kind of really like kicked me in a gear to like really try to pursue this as a career. Like I said, I graduated and I went to Valley Austin, and then I got picked up in a company in London, England, for images of dance. And then I was about to come stateside, and then with another company, and then Fernando offered me a contract with the Orlando Ballet, and I couldn't say no. So that's what brought me here to Central Florida area. But so yeah, that's a really quick synopsis of.
And Fernando was the head of the Orlando Ballet like in the early part of this century, right?
Yes, he was the artistic director up until he passed away in 2005.
So then what happened after that?
So unfortunately he passed away. I stayed with the company because the company was growing. It was Dance Magazine said it was one of the fastest growing dance companies in the world. And I believed it was obviously for Fernando Bojones pushing that company. And I didn't want to see it fail. So I stayed with it. And Bruce Marks came in, brought us some great repertoire, brought us Toile de Thar, Balanchine. And so it kind of like satisfied me artistically. And then it was Robert Hill came in after Bruce Marks. And then I decided to try something new. So I auditioned for Disney just on a whim, looking for like, because we're dark during the summer. So I was looking for a summer job, to be honest. Disney offered me a contract. And I said, no, I've already signed a contract. Thank you very much. They called me back. They're like, well, would you like to change your mind? I'm like, well, can you change my mind? And they said yes. So I said no to Orlando Ballet, just decided to jump ship and try something new. And I believe everything happens for a reason. I was dancing with Disney for 6 months, and then I got picked up with Cirque du Soleil. I was the principal dancer, ballet dancer for La Nuba for a period of time, and then went back to Disney as a principal equity performer with Festival Lion King. And then I ended my career there performing-wise as dance captain for that show.
Did you dance as long as you thought you would as when you were young?
Yeah, so when I was about 16, I guess, I don't know, early, I was like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna stop when I'm 35. Like that's my goal. Like I thought, dancers' careers are short, and like if I can make it to 30, 35, I'll be happy. And you know, it actually worked. I lasted to about 35. My niece said no more. I had a really bad surgery back in '07, '08, around that time, and finally that caught up to me. And I also told myself I'm gonna end when I am at, still I would say my peak of performance, because I don't want to remember my last performing years dancing as struggling. So I decided to end my memories there. So on a high, I guess.
And then what?
Then what? So actually, when I was with Cirque du Soleil, I was teaching side classes here and there, just for fun. And I realized Orlando could have more dance. I think there was, primarily a couple of dance companies here. And I was like, well, there's so many talented dancers here doing like the Disney, gig. And that's a nice a weekly work day, but at the same time, they want to do something more challenging. So I decided to start my own dance company, Me Dance. And that was back in 2011. I hired a group of dancers. We started producing shows. We do about 3 to 5 productions a year. Something a little bit unique about the dance company is the dancers receive 100% of tickets sold. So I don't take any of the profits, and we don't use any of the profits to rent our theater spaces. But back then we were renting, like say Winter Garden, Orlando Shakes, the Rep. We were kind of renting different spaces and producing shows. And we got to where we were doing so many productions, it was hard to land dates, and the theaters were getting busy. So I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of a crazy person, so why not let's start our own theater? So I looked for about a year for a space that would work for us. Ceiling height was an issue, and obviously space for dance, and something that was affordable, and that was challenging as well. But anyways, yeah, back in 2014, I built our own theater. The company's still doing strong. We did a little bit of a name change. So our performing dance company, our professional company's Dance Theater of Orlando. We still have the charity. The charity sponsors many different things that happen in Orlando when it comes to dance related stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how the theater happened back in 2014.
And is that a ballet company?
It is not a ballet company. I would say we're heavily technical company, but it's more of a fusion. So like I said, my background initially was jazz, tap, hip hop. Like when I was young, I danced with NSYNC as a backup dancer in Hawaii. So like that was kind of I love commercial dancing, but at the same time, I had that love-hate relationship with ballet. So I respect it really highly. But my dancers are very, very technical and very, very strong. I would say I'm incredibly proud of them to be able to pull off the shows I give them. Obviously, we're creating one right now that's opening up in March. And I never noticed in the process of rehearsals how hard the shows are until I get into the theater and kind of like start doing the programming of the technical aspects of the show. And then I apologize to them. I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is so hard. But they love it. I'm so proud of them. But yes, it's not a ballet company to answer that question. It's more of a dance company. Like I said, each show is unique. We do a lot of multimedia aspects, fusion of live and pre-recorded video that kind of give the audience a little bit more of immersive feeling, more commercialized, I guess, and also helps with this type of market in Orlando, and the audience loves it. So that's what we've been doing the past few years. But I would say it's a fusion of dance styles.
All right. And you opened this theater in 2014?
That's correct, 2014.
And how many seats there?
It's 130 seats.
Okay, and it's down by the Florida Mall.
Yes, it's up, yep, right next to the Florida Mall. Yep.
Okay. Here's a question for you. What is the most impactful dance performance you've seen?
Oh, geez, that I've seen. I've seen many, many dance performances. I think the one of the most memorable when I lived in London, seeing the Royal Ballet perform. It was beautiful. I saw the ballet there. I saw many shows there. Obviously, I was the standing room, so I was like up in the very back just watching, but it was beautiful. So that kind of really inspired me and kind of touched me at another level of like what we do for the community and for the arts. So yeah, I would always remember that show, those shows.
Great. Well, thank you for creating another performance space here. I know lots of groups have used that, and thank you for your thinking outside the box and exploring new and fusion kinds of ways. We appreciate you being part of our arts and cultural community. And thanks for joining me for this conversation today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you those watching. Every Thursday we go live at 1 o'clock with Playfully Orange. Also, you might want to check out Diverse Orange, which is on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And you can also find these on YouTube or various Facebook and websites. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.